documentary or a play or write a textbook, but I became politically active. And I decided to write a petition. I don't know if has anybody written a petition here? To the House of Commons? No? Okay, let me tell you. It's an interesting process. You go online to the House of Commons site, you can actually write a petition, okay? So that's what I did. I said, given that the law in 1908 was founded upon racism, urged by Mackenzie King to extradite Chinese Canadians, and given that in 1923 cannabis was added with no debate in the House of Commons, no understanding of the scientific nature of cannabis, did not make this law according to any kind of scientific evidence, given that that is the history of the origins of our drug law, at the very least, the government must acknowledge these facts, and immediately give automatic expungements to anybody that has been charged or convicted under this horrible act, the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. And so I pushed it out into the world. There you go, world. It's got the petition. And I'm not very good on social media. I just kind of participate on LinkedIn every now and then. So yeah, it didn't go anywhere. The first 3 months, I launched it December 20th, and then it closed April 19th. I thought it was going to be a big finish for an April 20th celebration that everybody's going to get an expungement. Just so I know, does anybody know the difference between a pardon and an expungement? Everybody know that? Sort of? One person? Sort of shaking. Right. Expungement is not a pardon, and that's what is currently happening now. People are trying to get pardons. So this is the difference. The difference is, a pardon is, you go to the government, and you fill out their applications, and you go, please government, please parole board, please grant me a pardon. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, right? You're begging for forgiveness. An expungement is, fuck you, I'm not a fucking criminal, the fucking law never should have existed, and you expunge my record now. That's the difference. And so that's why I made my petition. I was like, I want the government to understand that this law should never have existed. There should not currently be a chasm between licensed and unlicensed. There should not be legacy with the way we talk about legacy. No, we are growers. If you want to grow weed, you grow weed. That's how it should be. Just like tomatoes. And children, are we protecting children with the Cannabis Act? That's one of the main objectives of the Cannabis Act. Let's protect the children. Well, then why allow people to grow 4 plants at home if you want to protect the children? I've got 3 kids. I've got 4 plants in my backyard right now. I'm hoping that my neighbor's watering them, actually. I'm not doing that well. But my children don't care. I'm like, guys, come over here. My eldest is 10. Eli, come over. Take a look at this plant. What do you think? He's like, it's weed, Dad. It's fine. Whatever. He doesn't care. I'm like, okay. And I start to talk to him about what weed is. What is weed? And what he's like, I know it's like, you know, you smoke it or... He doesn't care. As long as we're educating people and talking about it without some kind of stigma or some kind of taboo, it's not going to be of concern to kids. Kids are naturally disposed to wanting to explore mind-altering substances. They do it. They're going to do it whether or not the Cannabis Act is there or not. For decades, all of my friends, come on. Yeah. You need a Cannabis Act? Oh, I'm exhausted talking about this. Okay. So this is it. This is it. This is the nub of it. So after this little chat, I want everybody who wants chapter 1 to understand the history of how we got into this mess to go or just give me their email address or just somehow connect with me. My website is cannabislaw.ca. I'm one of the sponsors there, cannabislaw.ca. I made my firm Cannabis Law because I wanted to be very unimaginative about my name and just say it like it is, okay? So I want you also to think about the need to not just decriminalize, not just legalize, But we're talking about something that's just completely different here. And that is imagine that the law does not exist at all. Where could we go from there? That's what I want to start imagining. Let me ask you, you guys are in it, right? Where could we go with cannabis if there wasn't a law about cannabis? Where could we go? What could we do with it?
Anywhere we want.
Anywhere we want. We could grow it anywhere we want, right? Just like tomatoes.
Yeah. Like a tomato.
Like a tomato, right?
Aloe vera plant. Share it with your friends.
Share with your friends.
I got a fun question. We got 2 minutes. We gotta wrap.
Wrap it up, sure.
With this one, so some countries. Okay.
You have a microphone, yes.
I'm just stepping in with the tomato comment specifically. And some countries like Italy have adopted the tomato concept for low CBD variety hemp, low THC variety hemp cultivars. What's your opinion on that? How do we move forward in Canada and start bringing the changes to enable a platform like that? Because in Italy, I can grow as much hemp as I want, as long as the certified cultivar doesn't hit a certain percentage, and then I can go to the farmer's market and sell it in my barrel next to my tomatoes as long as it's checked. I mean, I can literally follow the tomato model with that in this country that's doing it. Do we see the potential of that happening in Canada or other places, or how do we enact change to enable those functions to happen so that we can create an industry that we want?
Beautiful question. You've answered the question. In your question.
I'm sorry.
No, that was brilliant. You answered the question. I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's how we do it. Exactly. We ask the question first. How are we going to change what we currently have? Well, brave litigants have created this situation right now, because we all know that legalization was born out of the brave litigants of our country who created the medical regulations. Terry Parker.
David Herford.
Sorry?
David Herford.
Herford.
Yeah.
I document them in the book. Every single litigant who fought the government on constitutional grounds to be able to grow, possess, alter, sell cannabis for medical purposes. And that's where we got the first, Terry Parker's Court of Appeal decision in Ontario is where we got the first MMAR, right? Health Canada was tasked with having to come up with some kind of regulations to be able to handle this new medical cannabis situation, right? And we've just proceeded from there. The MMPRs, thanks Harper, so companies could take over, and then, that was completely found to be unconstitutional. Thanks Allard, David Allard and company.
To clarify, it was the AIDS virus that precipitated the need for the Terry case.
For Terrence Parker?
Yeah, wasn't it?
He had epilepsy. He had like 90 seizures a day, grew his own plants. He was self-medicating. Yes, epilepsy.
Out of the West, David Herford wrote for the AIDS patients.
Right.
Legalized in 98, 99 also.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's from our medical legacy, from patients who've had to fight for their rights, not from government coming and saying, oh, Mr. Bennett, that's a great idea. Why don't we amend the legislation like that? No, that's not how change happens in this country.
So how do we take medical back?
How do we do it? How are we going to do it?
How are we going to do it?
Like we've always done it. Rebellion, right? We rebel against what we have. We change, we slightly alter. Your degree of rebellion is based on who you are.